Joseph of Arimathea is one of the most mysterious figures in biblical history. Mentioned in all four Gospels, he plays a crucial yet subtle role in the story of Jesus' crucifixion and burial. But who was this man really? Was he merely a wealthy disciple who had access to an unused tomb? Or was there something far more significant about his position and influence? According to the Gospel accounts, Joseph was a member of the Jewish Sanhedrin, the ruling council that played a role in condemning Jesus. However, the Gospels also state that he did not consent to their decision and was instead a secret follower of Jesus. This is already an intriguing contradiction. How could a man hold such a high position among those who opposed Jesus, yet also secretly be one of his disciples? The Bible tells us that after Jesus' crucifixion, Joseph boldly approached Pontius Pilate and asked for the body. This was an incredibly risky move. Not only was Jesus seen as an enemy of both the Jewish authorities and the Roman government, but anyone associated with him could have been targeted as well. And yet, Joseph, a respected member of Jewish society, took it upon himself to ensure Jesus received a proper burial. Some historical accounts suggest that Joseph was not just any wealthy man, but a significant figure with connections to the Roman elite. There are even theories that he had ties to Britain through the ancient tin trade, making him a man of considerable influence beyond Judea. In medieval legends, Joseph of Arimathea is said to have traveled to Britain, bringing Christianity with him and even carrying the Holy Grail. Could these legends be based on real historical movements that the Church has sought to obscure? The deeper one looks into Joseph of Arimathea, the more questions arise. His sudden appearance in the Gospel narratives and his actions suggest he may have played a much larger role in Jesus' ministry than we have been led to believe. Was he protecting hidden knowledge? Did he belong to a secret group of early followers who understood Jesus' teachings in a way that was later suppressed? These questions lead us to one of the most disturbing possibilities: the existence of a lost letter written by Joseph himself, a document that could change everything we know about early Christianity. For centuries, rumors have circulated about a mysterious letter written by Joseph of Arimathea, an ancient text that, if proven authentic, could completely alter our understanding of biblical history. But what exactly is this letter, and why would the Church go to such lengths to keep it hidden? Some ancient sources suggest that Joseph may have written down his personal account of Jesus' life, his teachings, and what truly happened after the crucifixion. This would be groundbreaking, because the official Gospels were written decades after the events, based on oral traditions and second-hand accounts. If Joseph, a direct witness, recorded something different from the established narrative, it could challenge the foundations of Christianity as we know it. But what could be so controversial about this letter? One possibility is that Joseph's account contained details about Jesus that did not align with later church doctrine. Perhaps he described Jesus in a way that was more human, rather than the divine figure emphasized by later theological developments. Maybe he provided insights into secret teachings, esoteric wisdom that only a select few of Jesus' followers understood. Some researchers believe that the letter of Joseph of Arimathea might connect to Gnostic traditions, which were largely erased by the early church. Gnostic texts, such as the Gospel of Thomas or the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, present a very different view of Jesus, one focused on inner enlightenment, hidden knowledge, and personal spiritual transformation, rather than strict religious dogma. Could Joseph's letter have contained similar ideas that were deemed too dangerous for public knowledge? There are also theories that this letter might provide evidence of Jesus' survival after the crucifixion. Some ancient texts, such as the Gospel of Basilides, suggest that Jesus was not actually crucified, but that another took his place, or that he survived the ordeal in some way. If Joseph of Arimathea had knowledge of this, he would have been one of the few people who could have documented the truth. The question remains, if this letter exists, where is it? Some believe that it was hidden away by early church leaders who wanted to maintain control over Christian doctrine. Others suggest that it may still be locked within the Vatican's secret archives, along with countless other lost texts from early Christianity. Could modern archaeology or whistleblowers finally bring this document to light? If so, the revelations it contains could shake the very foundations of religious belief. The idea that the Church has suppressed important historical documents is not new. Throughout history, religious authorities have carefully controlled which texts are considered canonical and which are labeled as heretical. Many early Christian writings were deliberately excluded from the Bible, and some were outright destroyed. If a letter from Joseph of Arimathea contained information that contradicted official church teachings, it would have been a prime target for suppression. One of the main reasons religious institutions have historically hidden certain documents is to maintain theological consistency. The Catholic Church, for example, spent centuries establishing specific doctrines about Jesus' divinity, the nature of salvation, and the authority of the Church itself. Any text that presented a different version of events, one that questioned these teachings, would have been seen as a threat. The suppression of alternative Christian texts is well documented. The Gnostic Gospels, which include writings attributed to Thomas, Philip, and Mary Magdalene, were labeled as heretical and buried for centuries. It wasn't until the 20th century that some of these documents, such as the Nag Hammadi library, were rediscovered. If these texts had been hidden for so long, could Joseph of Arimathea's letter still be concealed somewhere? There is also historical precedent for the Vatican and other religious authorities keeping controversial documents under lock and key. The Vatican's secret archives contain thousands of ancient manuscripts that have never been made public. Some speculate that within these archives are early Christian writings that could challenge official church history. If Joseph's letter contained revelations about Jesus' true teachings, his fate after the crucifixion, or hidden aspects of early Christianity, it would fit perfectly into the pattern of texts that the Church has sought to suppress. Even beyond the Vatican, lost Christian texts have mysteriously disappeared throughout history. During the early centuries of Christianity, rival factions competed over doctrine, and many writings were destroyed to prevent alternative views from gaining traction. The Council of Nicaea in 325 AD was a pivotal moment in which church leaders decided which teachings were acceptable and which were to be eradicated. Could Joseph of Arimathea's letter have been among those texts that were deliberately erased? Some believe that clues to the letter's existence can be found in medieval legends and apocryphal writings. Certain early Christian sects may have preserved copies of suppressed texts, hiding them in remote locations. There are even theories that secret societies, such as the Knights Templar, may have possessed hidden Christian documents that revealed truths contradicting mainstream religious teachings. If this letter were to be uncovered, the consequences would be enormous. It could confirm long-standing suspicions that history has been manipulated and that the true message of Jesus has been distorted over time. It could also force religious institutions to reconsider long-held beliefs, potentially leading to a major shift in Christian theology. But perhaps the most important question is, what does this mean for us today? If we are being denied access to ancient knowledge, what else has been hidden? The suppression of history is not just a religious issue, it is a matter of truth, control, and power. By seeking out lost knowledge, we are not only uncovering the past, but also reclaiming the spiritual wisdom that was meant to be shared with all of humanity. The idea that Joseph of Arimathea wrote a letter revealing lost truths about Jesus is both compelling and controversial. If such a document exists, the question becomes, is there any actual evidence? Are there references, testimonies, or historical records that suggest this letter was real? The search for such a document leads us into a complex web of ancient texts, secret archives, and hidden history. There are several sources that hint at the existence of writings from Joseph of Arimathea. One of the most intriguing is found in apocryphal Christian literature, writings that were not included in the official biblical canon. While none of these texts explicitly present a letter of Joseph of Arimathea, some ancient writings attributed to early followers of Jesus suggest that secret documents were passed down among certain groups. These texts often describe hidden teachings or alternative accounts of Jesus' life that differ from the version presented in the New Testament. For example, the Acts of Pilate, also known as the Gospel of Nicodemus, is an apocryphal work that includes additional details about Joseph of Arimathea. It describes how Joseph was imprisoned by Jewish authorities for requesting Jesus' body and how he was miraculously released. If this account has any historical basis, it raises an important question. Why would authorities go to such lengths to silence Joseph? Was it simply because he buried Jesus, or was he in possession of dangerous information? Another piece of evidence comes from early Christian traditions, which suggest that certain followers of Jesus kept secret records of his teachings. The Gnostic texts discovered in Nag Hammadi in 1945 reveal that alternative Christian sects preserved knowledge that was later suppressed by the Roman Church. If Joseph of Arimathea was a key figure in early Christianity, could he have written down teachings that were passed down in secret? There are also tantalizing references to lost Christian documents in the writings of early church fathers. In the 2nd and 3rd centuries, theologians such as Irenaeus and Tertullian mentioned heretical writings that contradicted orthodox doctrine. Many of these texts were destroyed, but some scholars believe they may still exist in hidden archives. If Joseph of Arimathea wrote a letter, it may have been among these lost works. One of the most intriguing theories is that the letter, or a copy of it, could be hidden within the Vatican's secret archives. The Vatican Library is known to contain thousands of ancient manuscripts, many of which have never been made public. Throughout history, the Church has carefully controlled access to certain documents, especially those that could challenge official teachings. Could Joseph's letter be among them? There have also been claims that lost Christian writings may still exist in remote monasteries or hidden underground chambers. Some researchers have speculated that the Dead Sea Scrolls, which contain ancient Jewish and Christian texts, could be just one part of a much larger collection of hidden documents. If a letter from Joseph of Arimathea ever surfaces, it might be in an unexpected place, a forgotten monastery, a sealed cave, or even a private collection held by secretive religious groups. Modern technology is also playing a role in uncovering lost documents. Recently, advanced imaging techniques have allowed scholars to read ancient texts that were previously thought to be unreadable. These methods have already revealed hidden writings in early Christian manuscripts, and some researchers believe that more discoveries are yet to come. If Joseph's letter was ever copied and preserved in an ancient book, it could still be waiting to be found. The search for this lost letter is not just about history, it is about uncovering the truth. If such a document exists, it could provide a first-hand account of Jesus' life, his true teachings, and perhaps even hidden knowledge that has been kept from the world. It could confirm theories that the official story of Christianity has been altered over time, or it could challenge our understanding of Jesus in ways we never imagined. But perhaps the most important question is, what would this letter mean for us today? If Joseph of Arimathea's letter contained secrets that were deliberately hidden, what does that say about the religious institutions that have controlled Christianity for centuries? If the Church has suppressed knowledge, what else has been hidden from humanity? If the letter were revealed, it could lead to a massive shift in how people understand their faith. Many believers trust the version of Christianity that has been passed down through the Church. But what if that version is incomplete? What if key elements of Jesus' teachings were removed, edited, or hidden to serve political and institutional agendas? If Joseph's letter were to confirm alternative interpretations of Jesus' message, it could inspire a wave of spiritual awakening, pushing people to seek a deeper, more personal connection with the divine. One possible revelation that could come from this letter is the true nature of Jesus' mission. Some theories suggest that Jesus was not simply a religious figure, but a teacher of profound spiritual wisdom, one who sought to awaken people to their own inner divinity. If Joseph's letter contained details about Jesus' secret teachings, it could confirm long-standing beliefs that Christianity was originally much more mystical than what we see today. Another shocking possibility is that the letter could provide evidence that Jesus survived the crucifixion. This idea, while controversial, has been explored in various ancient texts and alternative historical theories. If Joseph had knowledge of Jesus' fate that contradicts the biblical account, it would be one of the most earth-shattering discoveries in religious history. Even beyond the specifics of Jesus' life, the existence of a hidden letter would reinforce the idea that much of what we know about early Christianity has been carefully curated and controlled. If religious authorities have hidden this document, what other truths have they suppressed? Could there be other lost writings from Jesus' disciples waiting to be uncovered? For many, the revelation of such a letter would be a call to action. a push to reclaim the hidden truths of spirituality that have been buried for centuries. It would challenge believers to think critically about their faith and to seek answers beyond what has been traditionally taught. It could also unite those who have long felt that mainstream Christianity does not fully reflect the depth and mystery of Jesus' teachings. But there is also a darker possibility. If such a letter were to emerge, would it be accepted by the world, or would powerful forces work to suppress it once again? Throughout history, those who have tried to reveal hidden truths have often faced opposition from those in power. If Joseph's letter were discovered, would it be dismissed as a forgery? Would it be hidden once more to protect the status quo? Ultimately, the search for this lost letter is about more than just a piece of paper. It is about uncovering the deeper truths of history, spirituality, and human consciousness. Whether or not this letter is ever found, the very possibility of its existence invites us to question what we think we know. It challenges us to dig deeper, to seek knowledge, and to reclaim the wisdom that may have been kept from us for generations. If Joseph of Arimathea's letter exists, it may be one of the most important documents in human history. The question now is, will we ever find it? And if we do, will we have the courage to face what it reveals?